Absolutely am. Yep. So if you do want to shut your video off, you are welcome to do that. I will be shutting my video off when I really get into the slide presentation. But my icebreaker question for you all is, what fictional family would you most like to join?
I had another question. It's not going to be on the internet or anything, right?
Not on the internet. It goes up on YouTube though. I mean, it's not going on to, because that's how I store my
But I
videos.
mean, is it where other people outside of this group can see it?
Um, if anybody subscribed to see me or to my videos, they would see it. Yeah.
Only people like that though, not just
No, no.
okay.
I mean, I send it out to my mailing list. They get a copy of the replay.
Okay, as long as they're associated with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. But anyway, I'm going to go back to my icebreaker question because we kind of know each other here. And so for something different, what fictional family would you most like to join? So it could be in a book, a movie, a TV show. If there was a family, a group, or whatever that you would like to join as a child, as a parent, as a friend, aunt, uncle, sibling, whatever. So for me, it's Little Women. Um, I watched a movie, I don't know, it's probably 3, 4 years ago that it was on, and I felt a real strong connection with that family. So for me, it would be Little Women. So what who would you want to join? Hey Noni,
Hi there.
how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
I am well, thank you. My answer these days has been, it's another day in paradise.
Your
So I'm
inner
doing
paradise.
it's got to be paradise because I'm here.
There you go.
So I'm doing an icebreaker question because I know a lot of times people come on, they say, where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. And I thought I'd do something a little different. So my question is, what fictional family would you most like to join? And my response is Little Women. So if you have a thought on that.
I was drawing a blank on even thinking about coming up with any fictional families.
Yeah.
Me
So I
too.
did come up with Little Women before you mentioned it.
Wow.
You can be in the family with us then.
What's that?
You can be in the family with us.
Yeah, yeah. And then I was thinking about the Waltons.
I did too. That was my second one.
Oh, the Waltons. I
Or
love
there was the Brady Bunch. For some reason, that one came to my mind. I don't know why, but that would be a good one to stir the pot in.
Yeah.
or Little House on the Prairie.
Little House in the Prairie. There you go. Yeah. So, if anything, this is a great question to have as a journal prompt. Sometimes we think we have to have these big, profound journal prompts, but maybe something like this will bring up some ideas for you on what kind of life you want for yourself. And that kind of brings us back to this class, this webinar. And so really, if silence your phone, commit to being fully present in this moment, and have a notebook and pen ready. If you downloaded the and printed out the guidebook, you can have that next to you. There we go.
I just thought of a family. Yours, mine, and ours.
Oh, there you go. Now that was the one with,
Lots
was
of
that the
kids.
one with Lucille Ball, or was that
Yes,
the,
yes.
yes, that was, yeah. He was, I just remember Henry Fonda was on the ship, and when he said he was having a baby and he said how many, and he's like, they were like, what? Flashing all the fingers. And I can, my husband and I can relate to that. Today is actually our 34th wedding anniversary, and we have 7 children. We have currently 7 grandchildren, with 2 more on the way. One end of August, beginning of September, and the other one between Christmas and New Year's. So, family is something we're always kind of creating. In fact, you may hear background noise because I have 2 of my grandchildren living with me now for this present moment.
Happy,
And as
happy anniversary.
thank you. And know that there will be a time for Q&A after the presentation. So I am here for you. And as many of you know, I'm Lindy Boer-Johnson. I'm a certified health coach through both the Institute of Integrative Nutrition and the Institute of Nutritional Endocrinology. I've also studied Ayurveda, Chinese medicine. I'm currently studying more in depth on Ayurveda and constitutional tissue states, along with alchemical herbalism. And so today we will be talking about 5 ways to balance your hormones and boost your metabolism. So if you are interested in this topic, but aren't sure where to get started, or maybe you've started and have questions, this class is for you. And now I am going to shut off my video. There we go. So we're trying to lose weight maybe, or just getting your body into this healthy space, that can feel like a fight against the inevitable. Like, am I ever going to lose weight? Am I ever going to be completely healthy? It can feel like a struggle. Like I often will say, the struggle is real. So no matter how much you maybe cut back on your meal plan, maybe change your exercise routine or drink more water, it doesn't seem to do anything. And in this case, it might not be a problem of trying harder, but simply getting back into balance. So hormones control every area of your body, including whether you're trying to just get healthy or really lose weight. While it can feel like you just have to try harder to reach your goals, the reality is that you might have to get your hormones back in balance to boost your metabolism. I don't know about you, but I've frequently seen this ad on the internet where somebody says, wow, you lost all that weight in 4 weeks, 6 weeks. How did you do that? She goes, I balanced my hormones. Of course, she wants you to take her hormone quiz, but she's on the right track. Balancing your hormones is easy to say, but it requires some dedication and practice. There are some simple ways that you can balance your hormones and boost your metabolism, and we'll talk about them here. So while it does take that, put your shoulder to the wheel, push along type thing, and that endurance, in reality, it's simple steps you just consistently have to do in your life. So there's no time like the present, so let's get started. So how do hormones affect your metabolism? Dealing with hormones and your metabolism, you're going to hear all these different words and terms, and it can feel a little like learning a whole new language. And it's kind of easy to get lost in the weeds. You'll get going and you're like, I think I understand this. And then somebody will throw a word in and you're like, wait, what did that mean? So you're kind of going back and forth, and pretty soon you do get lost in the weeds of just trying to understand the language. So before diving straight into how those hormones affect your metabolism, let's take a step back to look at each piece individually. So what are hormones? Now, there are lots of big scientific explanations to this, so I'm going to try and make it as easy as possible. These little chemical messengers are what power many different areas of your body, from the way your body grows and develops when you're a baby or just as you're growing up. And it also affects your metabolism and your daily mood. We don't often think about how our hormones affect our mood. Each type of hormone travels throughout your body via your bloodstream to different tissues and organs. The key to hormones is that they don't work immediately. These are slow acting and take time to really settle in and affect your body. Just a small amount of different types of hormones can make massive changes within your system. Your body has an entire system to deliver these hormones. The endocrine system includes glands like the pituitary, pineal, thymus, and thyroid. With this system of chemical messengers, your body develops and changes and regulates itself to keep you healthy. So then, what is metabolism? Metabolism is another chemical process within the body that helps you convert food and drinks into energy. It's the series of chemical reactions in a living organism that create and break down energy necessary for life. More simply, it's the rate at which your body expends energy or burns calories. We use it as the simple catch-all for when your body feels like it's burning food and drinks faster or slower, depending on the day. In reality, this is a very complex process that uses up calories and oxygen to fuel your body. So even when you don't feel like your metabolism is burning off food and energy, or you're at rest, your body is really continuing to fuel every basic function. Everything from breathing to circulating blood or digesting food is created through basic metabolism. So if you're not working out or working hard, your body still uses up calories while at rest. This is known as the basal metabolic rate, or BMR. This BMR takes up about 60 to 70% of your daily energy use. So when you have rapid weight loss or restrict your calories, this rate decreases. This means that when you work out a lot or try to lose a bunch of weight, your weight loss may actually slow and then plateau. So one way to think about metabolism is to view your body as a car engine that is always running. When you're sitting still or sleeping, your engine is idling like a car at a stoplight. A certain amount of energy is being burned just to keep the engine running. Of course, for humans, the fuel source is not gasoline. It's the calories found in foods we eat and beverages we drink. Energy that may be used right away or stored, especially in the form of fat, for use later. So how fast your body's engine runs on average over time determines how many calories you burn. If your metabolism is high or fast, you will burn more calories at rest and during activity. A high metabolism means that you'll need to take in more calories to maintain your weight. That's why, that's one reason why some people can eat more than others without gaining weight. A person with a low or slow metabolism will burn fewer calories at rest and during activity, and therefore must eat to avoid become overweight, or eat less to become overweight. That's actually me. I have a slow metabolism. So how do hormones affect metabolism? Hormones are one thing and metabolism is another. Two different processes within the same body. Each has great power over your health and wellness. And when they influence each other, you can start to see a massive shift in how your body reacts. So all metabolic functions within your body are controlled by hormones. If any area of your body's hormones get out of balance, your metabolism can wobble and be thrown completely off track. The imbalanced hormones and out of whack metabolism can affect everything from your weight to your mood. Getting your hormones back into a balance takes some dedication and a few tried and true methods, but it is possible. And I think it's important to really emphasize these are methods that people have tried and it has worked for them. But your body is your body. So you can try them and find out if they are true for you. So let's talk about the planetary influence on hormones and metabolism. The way in which we see the moon reflecting within the human constitution is twofold and depends on whether the moon is full or new. The full moon type is typically more round, full, and watery in quality, tending towards pale skin and a mothering nature. The new moon type can tend to be frail, not as round in stature, and can tend to be distant, imaginative, poetic, and very sensitive to their environment. It is important to realize that within the moon, within many planets, in fact, there is this inherent polarity within it that can manifest in different ways. It is important to realize that these are generalities that I'm sharing with you and ways for you to connect to the archetype. They are not concrete rules. The way in which a planetary energy will express itself within a person is highly individual and affected strongly by where and how it is placed within someone's chart. So generally speaking, moon type individuals are gentle and sensitive with an air of caring surrounding them. They tend to be highly emotional and thus not as rationally oriented as the solar type. But it is this quality of feelings and emotions that are a key characteristic of a lunar type individual. The organs ruled by the moon are the female reproductive system, along with Venus. So you have the breasts, womb, ovaries, and menstrual cycle, along with the hormones that govern it, progesterone and estrogen. These are very important correspondences as the moon represents the divine mother, the pure yin energy of creation. Women with deep, recurring, or chronic female reproductive tract issues oftentimes must turn towards their moon and Venus for the wisdom needed to be integrated in order for a pure embodiment of the sacred feminine. She also rules the stomach and esophagus, for they are the receptacles of our food. So food, diet, and digestion have a powerful relationship to the moon. Though through restructuring our relationship to not only food, but how we receive nourishment, which is ultimately the archetype at play, we can transform the receptive quality of our digestive system. It's important to remember that the digestive system is relatively complex and has many components and therefore many different planetary rulers. The bladder is also ruled by the moon, which is more of a passive storage container for our urine, as opposed to the more active kidneys, which are ruled by Venus. Just as there is a deep relationship between the sun and Mars, so too will we see a relationship between the moon and Venus. There is a general rulership of the fluids of the body with the moon. This is everything from tears, urine, reproductive fluids, mucosa, etc. Oftentimes, states of dryness in the body are a deficiency in the moon, or what would be called yin deficiency in Chinese medicine. This can also be called false heat, or yin not holding down the yang, which is essentially there not being enough waters of the body to tamper down the fires, which then are enabled to rage out of control. So it's not necessarily an excess of fire, it's a deficiency of fluids, which makes it seem like there's an excess of fire. So if you have some burning, let's say, and you think it's because you maybe ate something that created the fire, it may be that you're not hydrated enough. The last and highly important rulership for the moon is the brain. This can get a little confusing because the brain is a central part of the nervous system, which is ruled by Mercury. We can think of the lunar aspect of the nervous system being the way in which we receive through our nerves. It's the way we respond and react, whereas the Mercury component of the nervous system is more the mind, communication, and language. And it's all faster through Mercury. It's like the difference between taking a cognitive stimulant remedy versus a relaxing nervine remedy. Lunar pathologies are those affecting the female reproductive system, such as dysmenorrhea, I can say this word, menorrhagia, amenorrhea, cysts, etc., as well as those affecting the nerves and consciousness, such as epilepsy, hysteria, psychosis, and schizophrenia. Many of these psychological disturbances have been recorded to follow various patterns of cycles of the moon. Insomnia is a classical pathology of the moon, and we can see much about a person's relationship to the night through studying their unique placement of it within the chart, as well as the beneficial forces to help correct any imbalances. Digestive issues such as vomiting, constipation, and nausea are related to the moon, especially when there is an excess of cold and damp foods, which suppresses the digestive fire. This can even lead to certain types of headaches characterized by dull, full, and swelling pain, as opposed to sharp, intense, stinging pain. So we've seen where one aspect of the moon can be you don't have enough of the waters with the burning, but there are other aspects where if you have this excess of cold and damp foods, it can suppress the digestive fire which you need. An excess of the moon will often lead to damp tissue states within the body, which leads to an accumulation of metabolic waste products, poor excretion of toxins, sluggish digestion and circulation, and can ultimately lead to poor skin conditions, which is the moon affecting Venus. This would be more in a full moon type person who tends to be more watery and stagnant. In a new moon type person, there is more of a vata-like nervousness, anxiety, and tension, which deeply affects the nerves. For that person, an herb like milky oats is an ideal moon remedy. We will also see excess moon leading to hormonal imbalances, which lead to anxiety and hysteria, as well as other excessive or deficient bleeding during menstruation, depending on the constitution of the person. There can tend to be an excess of sleep, but also an underlying restlessness due to a high amount of dream activity. So you can sleep a lot, but if you have really active dreams, that can be that moon excess. Deficiency in lunar energy can reveal itself as an inability to digest or receive nutrients from food, slow, stagnant menses, hormonal imbalances leading to depression and fatigue, restlessness, insomnia, and slow, stagnant fluids are also associated. So a healthy physical reflection of the moon is the ability to become feminine, receptive, and magnetic, but not to the point that we lose our dynamic, active, expressive parts of ourselves. We must learn to balance moisture and dryness, whereas the sun is focused more on balancing heat and cold. There is healthy amount of sleep, the ability to be sensitive to the environment, but yet feel safe, and a healthy rhythm within the lifestyle. The ability to handle and process emotions is important, not slipping into patterns of drama or collapse. So I thank you for listening to that part, because that was a lot. So now we're going to talk about 5 ways to balance your hormones and boost your metabolism. So it can seem kind of counterintuitive that you need to eat to balance out your hormones, boost your metabolism, and lose weight. But one of the first things you can do to help balance your hormones is to find out, how often does your body need to eat? That doesn't mean you have to eat more or eat less, but finding out how often you need to eat can help your body get back to balance. So many times I've heard people say you need to eat every 2-3 hours, and other people are like, you need to eat every 4 to 5 hours. But we're all different. So when you get hungry and you start to feel crabby, that's a good sign that the hormone cortisol has spiked in your body, and it's slowing down your metabolism. Cortisol stimulates your fat and carbohydrate metabolism, creating a surge of energy in your body. While this process is essential for survival situations, it also increases your appetite. And additionally, elevated cortisol levels can cause cravings for sweet, fatty, and salty foods. This means you're more likely to indulge in French fries and a milkshake than you are a well-balanced meal. One of the functions of cortisol is to thwart the effect of insulin, essentially rendering the cells insulin resistant. So the body remains in a general insulin resistant state when cortisol levels are chronically elevated. Over time, the pancreas struggles to keep up with the high demand for insulin. Glucose levels in the blood remain high. The cells cannot get the sugar they need, and the cycle continues. Consistently high blood glucose levels, along with insulin suppression, leads to cells that are starved of glucose. But those cells are crying out for energy, and one way to regulate is to send hunger signals to the brain. This can lead to overeating. And of course, unused glucose is eventually stored as body fat. This creates prolonged blood sugar elevations and excess insulin secretion, and can produce a low blood sugar effect as a rebound after insulin signal finally gets through, leaving you hungry and craving the carbs that got you in this predicament in the first place. The more often this happens, the more insulin resistant you become. Studies also show that cortisol may directly influence appetite and cravings by binding to hypothalamus receptors in the brain. Cortisol also indirectly influences appetite by modulating other hormones and stress responsive factors known to stimulate appetite. So eating regular meals throughout the day and timing your meals just right keeps your cortisol levels under control and your insulin releasing the right amount of fuel. You might need to experiment with the timing of the meals to make sure they match with what you need throughout the day. So eat as often as you need to, but not so often that you are grazing. This can be tricky and totally unique to you. So use what I call the ACEs. You may have heard of ACEs as advanced childhood events in the psychological or trauma field, but for me, this means appetite, cravings, energy, and sleep. So if you use this to guide you, you can ask yourself, am I having increased appetite between or after meals? Am I having sugar cravings between or after meals? How is my energy between meals or immediately after eating? Am I falling and staying asleep easily? As you ask these questions, keep in mind that symptoms between meals are related to lower blood sugar problems, and symptoms immediately after eating are related to insulin resistance problems. So the timing of your meals is only part of the battle. To balance your hormones, you need to be eating the right kinds of foods as well. So the first is protein. Eating more protein influences the way that certain hormones are released in the body. The two hormones that are influenced when you eat more protein are leptin and ghrelin. These are the key hormones that affect your appetite and food intake. Research has shown that eating protein decreases the hunger hormone ghrelin and stimulates the production of hormones that help you feel full, including peptide YY, often called PYY, and glucagon-like peptide 1, or GLP-1. Protein is an essential part to help hormones communicate with different parts of the body. And in some cases, some hormones are proteins, like insulin and oxytocin. Therefore, adequate protein intake is also essential for blood sugar balance, repairing DNA, and making hormones. While the right amount of protein per person varies depending on many factors such as your age, your physical activity level, your hormone situation, your current weight, your gender, protein should be no less than 25% of your daily calories. Low protein diets are linked to decreased growth hormone, estrogen, and prolactin, which is linked to your immunity, your metabolism, mood, and if you're nursing, breast milk production, and increased stress responses and thyroid imbalance. Carbohydrates. So you need to eat to your unique carb tolerance. This means finding out how much of what type of carbs you can eat while keeping your ACEs, your appetite, cravings, energy, and sleep in balance. For example, I know that I can eat an entire apple, but if I eat as little as 4 bites of a sweet potato, I'm craving the rest of that sweet potato. And if I finish it, I'll be asleep on the couch, if I make it that far. One person might be able to digest a particular food quickly and release the energy inside easily, but another person might have to expend much more time and energy during the same process. It's also important to consider the quality of carbohydrates and the timing of when you're eating them throughout the day. Choosing high fiber carbohydrates, such as those found in whole grains, legumes, and vegetables, provides the essential nutrients needed to support proper hormone function. Also, the fiber in carbohydrates help slow down the release of carbohydrates into the bloodstream, thus keeping blood sugar more stable. If you can eat them, whole grains are actually an incredible source of prebiotic fiber and have earned their rightful place in a diverse, healthy, hormone-based diet. You just have to watch where you get them from. They do this by maintaining your gut integrity, feeding your hormones healthy probiotic foods they need to replicate, and in turn create healthier hormones. If the same food can influence the metabolism of different people in different ways, then whether you burn more energy on a low carbohydrate or high carbohydrate diet is likely to be personal to you. I know I'm old enough that I have seen plenty of diets on both of these spectrums. So fats. Receiving optimal fat intake is vital to ensure optimal production of hormones. Fat intake will aid in the production of cholesterol. Cholesterol, especially HDL cholesterol, is the precursor to your sex hormones, testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. And I'm going to take a sip of water. Fat intake and healthy fats are essential for hormone production and maintenance of proper hormone function, as certain fats, such as those found in omega-3 fat sources, will aid in the rebuilding of cells and stabilization of hormones. Natural fats help you curb your appetite and can improve insulin resistance. They're often seen as a way to trigger the hormone in your body that leaves you feeling satisfied and full, so you won't continue to eat and throw off your metabolism. Fat provides energy, helps you absorb vitamins, and has been shown here is involved in hormone production. Some fats provide more benefits than others. Polyunsaturated fatty acids, such as your omega-3 fatty acids, have multiple benefits. For example, they can improve body composition and lower inflammation. Diets that contain monounsaturated fatty acids, such as those found in olive oil, nuts, and avocados, have been shown to promote weight loss and improve insulin sensitivity. So, there are many different types of foods that you can include in your diet to ensure you keep your hormones in balance, but there are a few you may want to avoid if you want to keep up with the progress you're making with your health. And I will start out by saying, just because I have these on the avoid list doesn't mean you should shun them. You should find out how your body responds to them. While red meat may count as a protein, it's full of saturated and hydrogenated fats, which means it increases the amount of estrogen in your body. And that increase in estrogen can worsen hormonal imbalances. When you eat animal protein, whether it's red meat, fowl, or seafood, it's important to be careful about quality. We don't all have $1 million to get organic everything, but we can definitely focus our organic dollars in the right place. Meats and animal foods in general should be highest on the list to buy organic. So why is that? Because animals eat plants and toxins from plants or animal feed accumulate in their flesh, which we then eat. Not to mention that most conventional meats have added hormones, antibiotics, and other crazy stuff just so they can be fattened up quickly and killed without them dying from infection due to toxins and close quarters. Soy products. So, whether published in a popular press article or a well-designed clinical study, there's some debate about soy remains. Part of the uncertainty is due to the intricacy of soy's effects on the body. Soy is unique in that it contains a high concentration of isoflavones, which is a type of plant estrogen. You may have heard the word phytoestrogen, that is similar in function to human estrogen, but with much weaker effects. Soy isoflavones can bind to estrogen receptors in the body and cause either weak estrogenic or anti-estrogenic activity. The two major isoflavones are called genistein and diadezyne. Soy isoflavones and soy protein appear to have different actions in the body based on the following factors. The type of study that was done on it. Is it being examined in a study with animals or humans? Soy may be metabolized differently in animals, so the outcomes of animal studies may not be applicable to humans. Hormone levels. Because soy can have this estrogenic property, its effects can vary depending on the existing level of hormones in the body. Premenopausal women have much higher circulating levels of estradiol, which is the major form of estrogen in the human body. So they have higher circulating levels of this estradiol than postmenopausal women. In this context, soy may act like an anti-estrogen, but among postmenopausal women, soy may act more like an estrogen. Also, women with breast cancer are classified into two hormone types, either hormone positive or hormone negative breast cancer. And so these tumors respond differently to estrogens. It also depends on the type of soy. So what type of soy is being studied? Is it whole soy foods such as tofu and soybeans, processed versions like soy protein powders or soy-based veggie burgers, fermented or unfermented soy foods? If supplements are used, do they contain isoflavones or soy protein? So there are many factors that make it difficult to construct blanket statements about the health effects of soy. So aside from their isoflavone content, soy foods are actually rich in nutrients, including B vitamins, fiber, potassium, magnesium, and high quality protein. Now, unlike some plant proteins, soy protein is considered a complete protein containing all 9 essential amino acids that the body cannot make, which must be obtained from the diet. Soy foods are also classified as fermented or unfermented. Fermented means that the soy food has been cultured with beneficial bacteria, yeast, or molds. Some believe that fermenting soy improves its digestibility and absorption in the body, as this process partially breaks down soy's sugar and protein molecules. So the last thing you might want to avoid or be aware of is caffeine. So when you drink coffee, it goes directly into your intestines, where it then gets absorbed into the bloodstream and then attaches to receptors in your brain eventually. And this is when you may start to get that buzzing effect of caffeine, and then it's circulating through the bloodstream and it hits the liver where it's metabolized. So if you're a fast metabolizer, generally speaking, the effect of caffeine on your body is shorter in duration. So you tend to have more coffee throughout the day. However, there are people who still do not react well to coffee among the fast metabolizers. If you're a slow metabolizer like me, we're kind of the more sensitive types there, the effects of caffeine linger around in your brain and bloodstream longer. You tend to not be able to drink caffeine at night and would still be buzzing around for a few hours. And I can't drink anything with caffeine after noon. So that's how sensitive I am. So how do you know whether you should drink it or not? Firstly, we need to assess your situation and your personal reaction to caffeine. Most people tend to drink caffeine during stressful periods. This is a mistake, as coffee intensifies stress levels. Human studies have shown that caffeine increases hormones such as cortisol and epinephrine during resting periods and releases cortisol into your bloodstream. So drinking coffee actually recreates stress conditions for the body. High levels of cortisol will cause our body to store fat in the stomach. So the release of too many of these hormones sends our body into a fight or flight behavioral mode. This means your mind and body thinks it's in a constant threatening situation, eventually leading to a constant state of anxiety. Caffeine is detoxified using the same pathway that also metabolizes the hormone estrogen through the liver. So women with hormonal imbalances such as PMS, PCOS, endometriosis, or a history of all this tend to be more sensitive to caffeine and tend to be slow metabolizers. Caffeine strongly affects the activity of the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal, or HPA axis, the linked system of hypothalamus and pituitary glands in the brain, and the adrenal glands that sit on top of the kidneys. The HPA axis influences the body's ability to manage and deal with stress, both at rest and during activity, and plays a huge role in the communication of your hormones. The hormone serotonin that sends happy signals to the brain is produced in your gut. When you have coffee on an empty stomach, it then decreases the ability to produce this hormone. So caffeine suppresses hunger. Do you eat breakfast in the morning? If not, and you live off coffee, it is time to change your mindset. Not having breakfast within an hour of rising will lead to insulin resistance. This is where your body will store your next meal as fat on your body. Cortisol is one of the most common hormones within your body to be completely out of balance. It's designed to put the body on full alert in times of trouble. The rise in cortisol levels is meant to only be temporary, but with high stress jobs, too much caffeine, and the wrong types of food making their way into your life, high cortisol and stress levels can be chronic. And this is why you need to create a nighttime routine. The constantly high levels of cortisol can drive up your blood sugar levels. High blood sugar means low metabolism and an almost unexplained weight gain, lack of sleep, and feeling of fatigue. Sleep can affect the hormones that control feelings of hunger and of fullness. It can also trigger the release of insulin. It has even been noted that one night of poor sleep leaves us with a blood sugar and insulin resistance imbalance. It also leaves the body in a state of stress, or cortisol, our stress hormone. When many of us are suffering from exhaustion, we often resort to extra coffee or sweet treats, which will end up resulting in blood sugar crashes throughout the day. So let's treat the cause, not the symptom. Stress levels at night are especially harmful. They can quickly disrupt sleep patterns, and the lack of sleep worsens the type of stress and raises your cortisol levels too. Dr. Sarah Gottfried notes that sleep is when the lymphatic system shampoos your brain, removing toxins and debris. And when the wear and tear hormones, for example, your cortisol, are put back into balance with the growth and repair hormones, which is your growth hormone. Creating a nighttime routine that helps you relax and de-stress is key to lowering cortisol levels and balancing your hormones for the whole day, week, or month. So there are some key things that you might want to consider including in your routine that will help you shed that stress fast. So cut off the caffeine early in the evening, meditate or pray, spend time journaling, invest in some aromatherapy, set aside time to do your hygiene routine. You might spend more time on some things than others and maybe add new tasks as you grow and mature in your routine. Deep breathing exercises and low-key yoga are great ways to relax and send all that cortisol running before you tuck yourself in for the night. Exercising is a powerful tool in your toolbox of hormone balance. Maintaining an active lifestyle throughout the week brings all the hormones in your body into balance. Any type of movement and exercise is good for balancing the hormones and boosting the metabolism, but high-intensity interval training is one of the best. These short bursts of intense exercise spark the brain to release growth hormone, which helps the body break down fat and build muscle. In addition to this growth hormone being released, exercise teaches the body to enhance and increase the actions of all the other hormones in the body. Simple movements like sprinting for 30 seconds, 3 times with 20 minutes of active rest in between, like walking or jogging, boosted the body's hormone levels and helped increase metabolism. Studies have shown and have proven exercise increases dopamine levels in the brain, which decreases stress and even depression. This chemical causes that famous runner's high because it enhances those feel-good transmitters. Increased dopamine also helps remove that edgy feeling stress creates. Physical activity releases serotonin, which promotes a good night's rest. Boosting serotonin levels can also positively impact mood, social behavior, appetite, digestion, memory, and sexual function. The symptoms of menopause are in part driven by the imbalance and decline of estrogen. One way to combat this is to exercise. Getting your heart rate up for at least a half hour every day helps boost estrogen levels, which can help take the edge off of menopause symptoms. Be sure your training plan is well-rounded and includes adequate rest between training sessions. If it currently includes no weight training and 5 spin classes, make some changes to balance things out. If it's all heavy weight training and sprints, balance it out with some lower intensity restorative activities like walking and yoga. It can be overwhelming to think about changing your lifestyle so intensely to work out like this every day. But to increase the growth hormone, you only need to work out 2 to 3 times a week to get the full benefit and start to see results. As you get more into a workout routine and work to balance your hormones, you'll find that you enjoy some forms more than others. To get the most out of a hormone balancing workout, there are some exercises you'll want to incorporate, no matter what your regular routine might be. So you have high intensity exercises like squats, lunges, pull-ups, crunches, and I think I said pull-ups twice. Strength training plus cardio, consistent programs that allow for repetition over a long period of time. A combination of strength training and cardio workouts can maximize health benefits and boost hormone levels. High-intensity exercises like squats, lunges, pull-ups, crunches, and push-ups are ideal, with minimal rest time in between. The more intense a workout, the more these hormones are released. Consistency is also key to retaining a steady flow of healthy hormones throughout your body. Exercise is a journey. Results do not occur overnight. The key is to remain focused on consistency. It's not about how hard you work, it's about sticking with it and making it a lifestyle rather than a binge. No amount of exercise is going to change your hormones or metabolism overnight. Like I just finished saying, the key is to remain consistent and keep working out, even when it's hard. The hormones in your body, including estrogen, testosterone, serotonin, and dopamine, are all affected when you work out. Each has a huge impact on your daily life. And the more intense the exercise, the more these hormones are released. So an upset tummy is one thing, an imbalanced gut is another entirely. There is a link between the health of your gut microbiome and hormones. When gut health isn't optimal, hormones become imbalanced. For example, there is new research showing that the microbiome plays a big role in estrogen regulation. These studies indicate that poor gut health increases the risk of estrogen-related diseases such as PCOS, endometriosis, and even breast cancer. An imbalanced gut microbiome is also one of the causes of a low-performing thyroid, also known as hypothyroidism. Symptoms of this include chronic fatigue, weight gain, and hair loss. Insulin is in part regulated by Lactobacillus reuteri, which is stored in the gut. With inflammation being a key symptom of an imbalanced microbiome, a deficiency of this beneficial flora makes it even worse. Vitamin D3, which is a precursor hormone, is not absorbed well by the body if gut health is not optimal. This vitamin is crucial to health on many levels, and chronic deficiencies lead to a host of other problems. Gut health also influences healthy cholesterol levels. These are precursors to maintaining a balance of progesterone and estrogen. When your gut becomes imbalanced and gut health is suddenly an issue, you can find your hormones follow suit and get out of control. The microbiome within your gut is key to balancing hormones in your body. The gut is also one of the biggest contributors to your serotonin levels, as we talked about before. Serotonin is the happy hormone. With increased production of it, you feel happier and have a greater sense of well-being. Scientists know that 95% of serotonin is produced and stored in the gut. This is why people with unhealthy microbiomes also often experience feelings of depression and anxiety. Without serotonin or an imbalance in the production, you can develop issues like irritable bowel syndrome, which lower your metabolism. This imbalance in gut health can happen through the use of antibiotics, not having a good diet, and even missing out on some sleep. Since poor gut health can be caused by any number of issues, there's a wide array of solutions that you can use to get your gut back in shape and balance out your hormones. So skip the artificial sweeteners, avoid inflammatory fats and sugar, and choose anti-inflammatory foods like wild-caught fish and veggies like spinach and green beans. Eat foods rich in antioxidants like berries, and take probiotics regularly. As you increase your gut health, you'll find it easier to balance your hormones and find ways to increase your metabolism without stressing your body. Sugar is one of the ingredients that creeps into your regular meal plans and can wreak havoc on your hormones, gut health, and the way your body processes food. Lowering your sugar intake can give you an edge as you get your hormones under control. Sugar not only provides major highs and lows in mood and energy, but it can also disrupt one of the most powerful hormones in the body, insulin. And insulin is closely connected to all the other hormones in your body, including estrogen and testosterone. Did you know women with PMS eat 275% more refined sugar than those without PMS? This can pump up estrogen levels, and that's not a good thing. Excess estrogen throws other hormones into imbalance, which only worsens symptoms. Fat cells, especially those found in visceral midsection belly fat, produce estrogen. When you eat an excess amount of sugar, the body copes with it by turning it into fat cells, which then produce estrogen. The more sugar you eat, the more fat cells you create, and the more estrogen you produce. A little added sugar now and then doesn't completely destroy your hormone health, But after prolonged use, your body can start to develop major health issues like obesity and diabetes. Eating or drinking added sugar over long periods of time pushes your body to become insulin resistant. Fructose and other sugar products can also prevent the body from producing leptin to its fullest within the body. Without this fully produced hormone, your body doesn't burn calories as it should. You might also experience an increase in weight gain. Sugar messes with your hormone levels and your gut health. Avoiding the overuse of sugar keeps your hormones in balance and your gut healthy. So, hormones control every area of your life, from the way your body processes food to the way your metabolism works. Balancing your hormones helps put you on better footing for good mental, physical, and emotional health. With just a few simple steps and processes, you can change up your life to ensure you get the most out of every area. Diet and exercise are just the first steps in hormone balance and boosts in metabolism. Including care for gut health and eliminating sugar from your diet are simple but effective ways to keep your body healthy. You might have been struggling for years to shed that unwanted weight. Until your hormones are back in balance, you might never reach those goals. Balanced hormones are the best way to get the life you want and the metabolism you need to be healthy, happy, and ready to take on the world. There's no time like the present to get started. So, I want to thank you for being here with me. You can contact me at lynn@feedingyourhealth.com, or you can go to my website, feedingyourhealth.com. I also have a Facebook group, and it's called Sage Wisdom. And if you are at all interested and want to know more about what I do, if working with me would fit with your life, you can schedule a free consultation by emailing me at lynn@feedingyourhealth.com. So, I'm going to stop this share and start my video. And you're welcome to join me on the video if you want, and let me know what you think. If there's any questions you have, I'm here. Did I put you all to sleep? I know there was
Oh,
a
no,
lot.
no.
There was a lot in there, and I tried hard not to make it too difficult to understand, but it's an important topic. And the good thing is there will be a replay, so you will be able to listen to it again and take your own notes over and over again. Do you have something over your camera, Gina? There you go. Oh, I can't hear you.
Can you now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so that was a lot of information. What's your,
I know, and I tried really hard to slim it down.
your
No
approach,
pun intended.
what's your approach on balancing hormones?
Say that again, please.
What's your approach?
With my approach? Well, first of all, if you've had any recent labs, I can look at that and see what messages your body is telling me. I really start a lot with the gut. I will also, if you're open to it, take a look at your natal chart to see what other information is from that.
Natal?
Natal, as in your astrological chart,
Okay.
because as I mentioned with the moon, knowing where your moon is can give me more information. We talk about tissue states. So are you hot, cold? Do you feel dry, damp? Are you tense or relaxed? Things like that.
Okay.
But really, first of all, I start with the gut. Because if you're not pooping right, nothing's going to work.
Yeah, that was good.
I mean, all of that could be condensed into that. But I think it's important for us to hear the words and the terms to understand why that's important,
Yeah.
you know? And I try to keep it balanced because, like I said, when talking about foods to avoid, there are some people who need to eat more animal protein. And especially if you have things like an oxalate issue, eating leafy greens may not be to your benefit. And, if you have nightshade issues, if you don't do well with brassicas, you may have to eat more animal food. And so understanding the importance of the source of it and how to prepare it, so I often will advise people to marinate like in apple cider vinegar or lemon juice or something like that, because that'll tear those fibers apart to make it more absorbable. Things like that. Soy, boy, you want to get into a debate with people, just mention soy. And I'm not here to debate it. I'm here to say, listen, there's pros and cons on both sides. You are your own best expert. Ask your own body, is this a good thing for me? So like miso is a fermented soy product. You can make it with other beans. I get mine from South River out in Massachusetts. They make it with chickpea and aduki beans and all those other things. But if you don't know your estrogen levels, you need to know what they are. So when we get older and produce less of it, maybe having some of that soy, especially fermented soy, in your body can boost your estrogen levels.
Wow.
And caffeine, right?
Oh, my.
Some people live on. My husband is a Mountain Dew addict. Yeah. I said, if you ever cut yourself, it would bleed green.
Oh my
And like
God.
I said earlier, today is my 34th wedding anniversary. So I love him dearly, as they say that.
Anniversary. So, this eating within an hour.
Eating 90 minutes, 60 to 90 minutes, and especially having protein has been shown to be really helpful for people. Now, there's a lot of people who do intermittent fasting. And I do intermittent fasting, but I do kind of the opposite way. I make sure I need breakfast, and I make sure I eat breakfast. I just eat later in the day. And for me, that makes sense because I am a slow metabolizer. And that allows my digestion, especially my liver, plenty of time, especially in that Chinese clock of 11 to 3 between liver and gallbladder, time to do its job. So that's how I do my intermittent fasting.
Gosh, I like to go till like 10ish, and I'm already up since 5.
Well, so the best time, again, using the Chinese clock is, let's see, between 6 and 8.
Have breakfast.
That's when your stomach and your digestion is really ramping up. Because I get up usually about 5. I have to drive the son to work. And the other thing to remember is when we wake up, we're usually thirsty. Our body is craving that moisture. So that's a great time to kick off your digestive stomach acids with either lemon water or lemon apple cider vinegar. I've taken to putting in a little cranberry juice in there as well. And so I'll have that first. And then, maybe a little later have something else. But I also like to make sure that my foods in the morning are more of a watery nature. So whether it's a smoothie or chia porridge that has more moisture added to it, that's how I usually do it. So And then my main meal is like midday.
Yeah, I like that watery in the morning.
Yeah, because we're really thirsty. Our body needs that. It needs the protein and it needs the liquid to just fuel us up.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah. And again, I'm speaking primarily for myself, and offer it just as something for you, for all of you listening to process, because like I said, your body, you are your own body's best expert. Um, so our activity levels tend to be higher in the morning. And so if I eat too much, then my body's busier digesting and I don't have as much to do my chores or other work. But naturally on that circadian rhythm, if we eat that heavier meal, then our body rests more in that early think about siestas. um, I live in an old farmhouse, and one of the upstairs rooms is like almost all windows because that was the nap room the farmers would go into and sleep after lunch before they'd go back out to the field. So having that heavier meal then, it's actually a natural part of our circadian rhythm. And but what we do is we grab a sandwich or some chips or something and we just power on through. And it's like, man, we don't have to do that to ourselves.
So nap too is part of the circadian rhythm?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Kids take naps.
Yeah.
We're supposed to rest in that earlier part of the day. Then we wake up and we still, even though we still do more activities in the late afternoon, early evening, it's still not as robust as what we should be doing in that earlier, 5, 6 in the morning till maybe 11:30, because that's when things start to kind of wind down.
Yeah.
And yet again, we still push ourselves. We may go to webinars or do a class or other strenuous activities at night. It's really a great time to journal, to play board games with your family, to have phone calls with or interactions with other people, but it's low key. It's like a processing. We've had this part of the day to do things, and then we get to the end, it's like, okay, let's process. And we don't do that. We like push until we drop.
So many facets of.
It's complicated yet so simple. The more we know about our body and see how beautiful and fascinating it is, it's like we put this burden on ourselves using our brain, which is a wonderful data processor, but we forget to drop it into our body to feel the emotion in there and say, okay, how do you feel about that? It's like, oh, that feels like too much. I don't think I can do it. Great. That's good information. What is it we can do? If exercising all that, doing all that exercise is like, oh man, okay, take a walk.
I just think another thing is listening to our bodies.
Yeah, exactly. Everything I've shared is strictly education and information for you to take and go, how does that feel for me? It's not meant as a proclamation or a declaration that you must be doing all these things. It's information for you to go, I'm not moving the way that will boost my metabolism or balance my hormones. Maybe I need to, walk 2 or 3 times a week a little bit more.
Movement works. Oh my.
it works both ways. If you don't move, you feel it because, it gets pretty darn cold up here in the northern tundra, don't you know? And and so I don't move as much. And so then, once it warms up and I get out and start moving, it's like, oh, creaky, creaky. Brr, brr.
Yeah.
But, you know, yeah. And are you still in Dr. Rita Marie's program, or did you graduate? Yep.
No, yeah, no, I'm still in it.
Okay.
Um, so I don't know. I'm
And a
regretting.
lot of this you may be familiar with from what she teaches, because a lot of it is the same,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And you wrapped it up so nice. Like one
Well,
of
thank you.
the things is like, what did she say about low blood sugar? Oh, what did you say? Something about low metabolism. Cortisol lowers your metabolism. Did you say that?
Because what cortisol does, it's like, here's your blood glucose and it's going up and up, and usually insulin comes in here, goes, okay, you go here, you go here, you go here. And cortisol comes in and goes, oh no, we don't need you. And your blood sugar goes haywire. It might go high, it might go low.
Okay. Yeah, so there's no real one direct.
Right. Right. And that's why I like to have that. Something I learned about from another program was called ACEs, which is the appetites, cravings, exercise, and sleep.
Like that.
And that was easy for me to understand because of my work with Laura Fine and the ACEs. So my brain could understand that.
Beautiful.
And yeah. So anyway, it's it's really summed up in all of that. What's your appetite? How are you feeling in between your meals versus directly after? So like I said, if I eat certain carbs, boy, right, I might as well just bring the pillow with me to the table, because I will. It has been known for that to happen. I'm sitting there and I'll go,
Yeah.
And it can be scary, because heaven forbid you drive. Try it. It's like that can be scary, right? So paying attention to that. How well did you sleep? Things like that. It's all about you finding your particular rhythm for your life. I meant this to be empowering. I'm giving you this information. Now I'm empowering you to see, how does this information fit into your life? You do not have to do every single thing. If your body goes, nope, we're not doing that. Maybe not right now. Maybe right now I'm focusing on the food. And once I get that more consistent, then we'll work on the movement. So you have to decide what works for you. And that's how I am with my clients. I have a client recently that had certain health goals, but right now she's just working on being consistent. She bought herself one of those little pill boxes and she put things in. So she's consistent on taking those supplements and her lemon water in the morning. I'm not having her do anything else except for that, because that consistency, if you get too much on your plate, you're just going to go, that it's too much. I can't do it all. So what can you do?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think the hardest thing for people is to start walking or start something,
Just start something. Like I said, the water.
Yeah.
Can you do the water with the lemon or the apple cider vinegar or whatever in the morning?
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
Yeah.
I have a food, poop, pee, and mood journal that I have people do for a week.
Mhm.
And just pay attention to what comes out of your body.
Mhm.
How did you feel? What were the emotions during that time? a lot of people don't realize more people are getting the idea to pay attention to their bowel movements, but not as many people are looking at their urine. Is it clear? Is it dark? How often
Yeah.
do I urinate?
Yeah. Is it odorous? Is that right?
Is it what?
Odorous. Does it have odor?
Oh, odorous.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with your poop.
pH?
Huh?
Do you have them test their pH of the urine?
Not always. It depends. It depends upon where they're at.
Yeah.
Sometimes just getting people to look is enough.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's also where certain blood labs can tell you more about your electrolyte status as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I try to keep things simple. I um, I only suggest labs if it looks like it's really important. Most people have some type of insurance that can do a basic blood labs. I have a list of what I call the basic blood labs that they can hand to their doctor and ask them to run that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and I do have the Optimal DX software from Dr. Weatherby.
Mm-hmm.
And then just take a look at that. I may suggest, hey, this blood is suggesting you might want to be tested for H. pylori. It isn't necessary. You don't have to, because I know that's another expense. I try to keep supplements to a minimum. Digestive enzymes and probiotics are the two that I highly recommend.
Yeah.
If there are other ones that people need to take, maybe B12, vitamin D, something like that, we can discuss it. But I'm really sensitive to the fact that people's dollars or whatever form of currency you use, it's precious. And I'm not here to stretch it even, to make it even more painful. Yeah. You have great questions. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions or thoughts?
Well, that eat within an hour of waking up was new to me too.
Oh, well,
I've been focused on the, trying to do the intermittent fasting and keep it within a certain range, but
actually, Dr. Rita Marie teaches that, or at least she used to, in the Sweet Spot program.
about eating within an hour.
Yeah, and the protein.
I don't remember that, but might have been. There's
Yeah.
so much info there in her stuff.
So much info. Believe me, I know.
You know all the more than I do. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, but I do know. I was surrounded by it for a good many years, and so I just definitely remembered that. And that's always a question that comes up, because people are trying to do it perfectly. Oh, all the experts say I should do intermittent fasting. What does your body say it needs?
Yeah.
How long did you do that? 4 years? 5, 6 years?
7. I was with her for 7 years.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to head on.
Hey, Noni.
Hey, I was going to ask you about, I've been focusing more on my rebounder, which I had sort of been not active on, and now I've started using it more regularly, even running on it. And I mean, I think a lot of people feel that that's like a more efficient exercise because you're getting a number of different benefits.
Yep, I have one. I have a 10-year-old grandson who loves it. But yeah, no, that is it's really good cardio. It definitely fits in with all of that. You can even get weights, and And while you're jumping, you can do something like this or like this, just even 2-3 pound weights, 1 pound, whatever works, and just do stuff like that,
Yeah, that's what I've been
Um,
using, like 3 pound weights.
there you go.
Yeah.
And, bringing your legs up farther, so instead of just bouncing like this, you do step bouncing and you bring your leg,
Right.
your like big marching, that's
Yep.
going to increase that heart rate.
Yeah.
You can also just sit on it.
Yeah, sitting on it. Good.
Yeah, and just bounce. That'll increase, and it's so good for your lymphatic system.
Right. Yeah. So I'm really enjoying it. I've just been recently taking a program that's to get more in tune with circadian rhythms. And so, a lot of the things that we've all known, but I'm actually starting to do. So I'm getting up and out into the early morning sun.
Yeah.
And, I'm seeing, a lot of things shift in my energy levels through the day from doing that. And then, I'm trying out eating at 8, 1, and 5.
Okay.
Because supposedly that's when the ghrelins are most active. So
Yeah.
I've been experimenting with that. The other thing that I added, oh gosh, now it's probably been about a year, is sea moss gel.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
really changed my whole bowel movement stuff. It was like,
Oh, I bet.
it's just so much, so much more is coming out in an easy way, and it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
It's very good for the mucous membranes, and it has some good fiber in it.
Yeah.
And actually, I think Rita Marie has a recipe with sea moss gel. I know. Oh gosh, Elena Love. She used to sell it, and on her website, I don't know if she still does. I haven't bought it for a while, but and Karen Osborne had a really good recipe using sea moss gel to make a type. It looked like an omelet, and of course it was vegan, but there are so many good things about sea moss gel. It's good for it. I actually did. I think one of my last calls, if you want to call it that, with Rita Marie, because I was one of her year-long energy recharge coaching coaches, and I did a talk on the circadian rhythm. And again, there's all sorts of hormones, things in your brain that come into play with that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, the sea moss gel, I just never really done anything with recipes. I just, make it up from the raw seaweed, soak it and blend it, and have a few tablespoons a day. And just, really, I'm appreciating it.
Yeah. And where do you get yours from?
I've just found different places online that I bought it that look like they're, decent sources. There's one, like I get a black seed oil from a guy from Bionatal, Bionatal, and he just started adding sea moss gel too. But I really love his sourcing of things. So the black seed oil, he's got a whole story of there, why he processes the way he does, what his sources are, and it's very credible. So anyway, when I saw he added sea moss gel, I thought, okay, I'm going to order my next batch from him.
I'm actually writing that down because I'm always looking for
good sources.
Good sources.
That's Bionatal?
Bionatal.
Like Nutella.
No, like natal, Natal. Bionatal.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you watch, like, he's got lots of YouTubes, and he shows how he's tested all these different black seed oils from everywhere. And boy, you really find out there's so much to sourcing things where we just sort of look at cursory stuff, but he goes into really great depths. And so, and he's been, I think maybe he's changed it now, but I think he was processing actually in Texas, but anyway, in the United States. So I've talked to him before. So I really trust his sourcing. And I think
he's got black seed soap. He's got arugula seed oil.
And castor oil now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so he's got some good stuff.
Nice.
There's one that's been gets a lot of press. I think it's a different company, Amazing something or other, and it's got lots of great reviews. And then as I was looking into it in more depth, I realized a lot of the people that are kind of in the know have switched to Bio-Natal.
Oh,
That's interesting.
Yes.
it is. Here's seeds, herbs, and mosses from them. Here's that link to them as well.
And the certifications, he posts
Yes,
them.
I just noticed that.
Yeah.
Fenugreek seeds. Oh, they've got some good. Oh, hibiscus.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh,
This
thank
is
you for
excellent.
sharing
Thank
that.
you. Yeah.
What's hibiscus for?
Oh, gosh. Hibiscus helps me personally just stay calm.
Oh. In what form do you use it?
Usually tea.
Tea. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like powder you put in your tea.
No, it's a whole leaf dried tea. And then I just have a tea ball that I put it in.
Does it come in powder form too?
Not that I'm aware of.
I might be
Um,
else. I'll have to look.
Yeah, I
it
think
might.
most-
It's just I've never looked at it that way. I'm just looking at some of my notes, other notes for hibiscus. Yeah, herbal beverages are sources of nutrients and phytochemicals that may play a role in preventing chronic diseases. Hibiscus tea is a caffeine-free functional food beverage with potential therapeutic effects, especially for the cardiovascular system. Hibiscus contains ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C, thiamine, which is B1, riboflavin, which is B2, niacin, which is B3, and beta carotene, which is the precursor to vitamin A, as well as calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, iron, and zinc. So there's lots of good things for it.
When we finish, I have a question that's off the subject.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. Is it one you want to share now?
Okay, it's technology. So if you want to stop your recording, go ahead. When I click on view and speaker so that I can see you better, because it's tiny, I have a tiny thing. It doesn't let me see you, Lynn. It shows the other one that's a picture of you.
Oh, yeah. That so see, my microphone does not work. And so you have to choose the right Lynn. You have the one that's host. Because I have to use my phone as my microphone.
Okay. Okay.
It's about an hour and a half away to bring my computer somewhere to get it fixed. And so,
gosh. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So
okay.
That would explain why I think you were demonstrating about getting on the trampoline, and I was just looking at a picture of you going, well, that's nice. Were you actually getting on the trampoline?
no.
Oh, you weren't. Well, you were talking
No,
about it in such a way that I thought you were. Anyway.
No, so I'm the host and my microphone is the co-host.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. I do have, if you go to my YouTube channel, I used to do a lot more on YouTube, but there's several on there where with me just doing simple movements that people can incorporate in their life. So you are welcome to go through there and see the different things I did.
So you've got YouTube videos on your website?
On my YouTube channel.
How do I get to your YouTube channel?
So if you,
Go to YouTube and type in Lynn Johnson.
Lynn DeBoer Johnson, yep.
Okay.
Yep. And so like when you go to listen to this replay, so it'll probably be Monday in my regular weekly newsletter that you'll see the, oh, Gene had to go. Okay. When you see that I'll have the replay for this and you click on that, you'll see here, if I can show you.
So when I want to see this replay, I can also just go to YouTube.
Yeah, it won't be done until probably
Monday.
Monday,
Okay.
but
I can
I'm
get
just,
to it from YouTube.
yeah, you can get there. And so I'll just show you. I'm gonna share my screen real quickly.
YouTube would probably be the easiest for me because I'm on YouTube all the time.
Okay, so you can go on here and just see all the different videos that I've done. Oh gosh, that's me with darker hair. So, you know, doing a yoga inspired upward salute. So there's a simple
Oh.
one, do a knockout move. That's me doing something. A seated lower back stretch, a nice neck stretch.
Oh, that's great.
Here, take a minute for some balance.
Oh, great. I'm so glad to know this.
Yeah. So just go through and you can see all the different videos that I'm doing. See, I even do some outside. Anyway,
Is that in your house?
yes.
Okay.
Yep,
Yep. I've never seen a tour of your house
that's okay.
or your yard.
It's just an old farmhouse. And someday it'll actually be clean all the way through. Or I can give you a tour.
That's funny.
Anyway. Well, I
So-
hope this was all helpful and that you've learned something, just even one little gem or nugget that will give you motivation to look at your life and go, what's one thing that I can do differently to take me towards my goals?
That kind of pulled a lot of pieces together for me.
Good, good.
It was good.
Thank you. Thank you. I know there was a lot, but yeah.
I'm going to listen to it at a time when my brain is, really good.
Good.
I'll be
And
able to.
then this will help you to get to understand why your brain sometimes is better at night versus earlier in the day.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And sleep and all that other good stuff.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And I have a private question for you afterwards, not on the recording.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
All right. And anybody have anything else I can help them with? Okay.
Yeah, so
Well-
maybe we could go and let her ask her question.
Yes. And I'll
Yeah,
stop the recording, but I just, for any of you here, anybody watching the recording, just reach out if you have any questions. If you want to schedule a free 30-minute time to talk about anything, again, just email me, lynn@feedingyourhealth.com. Or you can go to my website and learn more.
Thanks.
All right.
Right. Bye.
See
Bye,
ya.
Judy.
Bye.